Does Devin Booker really not like DeAndre Ayton? In other words, is he DeAndre Ayton? We're going to dive into that after last night's Lakers versus Suns game. We got to talk about this. Devin Booker caught on a hot mic having some comments on DeAndre Ayton's shot attempt. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Said it before, but it stays the same. 70% of you watching this, you are not subscribed to the channel. Let's fix that. Hit that subscribe button. If you're a basketball sicko, hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. Joining me is Donnie Freeman. Donnie, are you DeAndre Ayton?
You say the number doesn't change. That's why the number doesn't change, because we opened the videos with DeAndre Ayton.
That's why. That's why people love my puns.
Oh my
it's
god!
What I know for. They're endearing.
You need to run these by me before we go on live. I need to be able to brace myself for these, because I get caught off guard every time. I'm just sitting here like waiting for my chance, and then you throw one of those out, and it's like, wait, what?
I can't even help it at this point. I can't even help it. It just comes naturally. So this happened last night. The Lakers got blown out by the Phoenix Suns, and Suns fans certainly enjoyed. DeAndre Ayton had 1 point in this game. Now he did some other things, and we'll talk about that. But Suns fans enjoyed that Ayton struggled on the offensive end. In fact, there was this moment that was caught here. Reportedly, this is Devin Booker. Kellen Olson saying, yeah, he recognized the voice, that it was Devin Booker yelling, "Hell nah," when DeAndre Ayton missed this shot. So give this a listen here.
Donnie holding on to it. A lot of touches so far for Reeves. Underneath to Ayton. Remember that playoff series?
So that comes on the heels of Devin Booker's maybe not so cryptic comments about DeAndre Ayton and whether or not he will have an impact with the Los Angeles Lakers this season. Here's what Booker had to say before the game when asked about.
I mean, I guess we'll just have to see, you know.
Yeah. That was all he would say. I guess we'll just have, rather than, oh yeah, you typically a former teammate would say, yeah, he's really going to help them with their rebounding. He's really going to help them with their rim protection, with their scoring in the paint, something they would give some type of praise to their former colleague, teammate, whatever you want to call it. Instead, Devin Booker was just like, I guess we'll just have to see on whether or not Ayton would actually help the Lakers. So, Donnie, we mentioned it before you came on air that Booker yelling hell nah, that's not all that uncommon. But when you add it to this, and you add it to the fact that from their time with the Suns, there is a history of Devin Booker making some comments about DeAndre Ayton, perhaps referencing his work ethic, the motor, the concerns that we've had with him. Do you think Devin Booker's got something against DeAndre Ayton, maybe a little bit of animosity there?
I mean, it's definitely possible that he's got maybe a little bit of animosity there. I mean, they were teammates for a while. Maybe there's some things that, you know, they're familiar with that we're not so familiar with in terms of like how things went in the background with those guys. But every time I think of these two together, I remember the winner's work. You remember the winner's work?
No, what was that?
That was the clip of them in the gym, and they're like, "Oh, winner's work," and they're like, you know, working out a little bit after, I think, post game and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that was from like 2022. I think back then, maybe when they were still really good, you know, maybe there was some good chemistry going on there, but I mean, DeAndre has largely been criticized for his motor, his work ethic, things like that. And he's now in a position where he's trying to change the narrative around himself and that stuff. But if you're Book, you probably experienced a lot of that stuff firsthand. And I mean, there were a lot of stories that came out even about his time in Portland, about how he was late to practices and this and that. I'd have to imagine that didn't just develop out of nowhere. There was probably a trend of that stuff prior to that in his career. And if you're Booker and maybe you held him to a high standard, he was the number 1 overall pick and he didn't provide for you exactly what you wanted, you know.
And I mean, he was Suns
good,
fans certainly feel that frustration. Here's some Suns fans that were aggregated for their responses about Devin Booker and making that comment. Ayton is washed up, somebody said. Devin Booker's beef with DeAndre Ayton makes me so happy, another Suns fan said. He's seen the bad post game up close for years, another one said. He said he had me laughing so hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think some of that's just that he's very familiar with Ayton, and so maybe that some of that stuff just rubbed him the wrong way. And I think that's fair, of course. And I don't know if it's one sided or what. Maybe, you know, DA doesn't really like him very much either. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, Suns fans who feel burned by DeAndre Ayton, and perhaps Devin Booker does
The
as
Suns
well.
fans should feel burned. You thought I was gonna let that one slide? You know what you did there.
I thought I got away with it for a moment there. Suns burned. But you would expect fans to feel a certain kind of way about the former number one pick, particularly look, if it was the guy played his heart out and just never got to the level you wanted him to, there would still be frustration. But what fans really aren't okay with is if there's a sense that he didn't play his heart out. There's a sense that the guy that effort was a problem. That's where fans will really develop animosity towards the player. So I'm not surprised to see Suns fans kind of reveling in any struggles that DeAndre Ayton might have. Devin Booker having this kind of issue with him, though, this will be an interesting subplot because we know the Lakers and Suns are going to see each other. They're going to see each other again in preseason. It's the first night of a bizarre preseason back-to-back for the Lakers. I don't know if the Lakers will even have anybody playing in that game, but they will see each other again. They'll have to play again during the regular season as well. So this will be something worth keeping an eye on. Now, DeAndre Ayton, should we be concerned with the performance that he put up? And are Suns fans going to have a lot more over the course of the season? Suns fans enjoy taking shots at the Lakers whenever they possibly can. And now they've got DeAndre Ayton, that's only going to be multiplied. So is there opportunity here for Suns fans to potentially have a lot more enjoyment at the expense of the Lakers over the course of the season? We're going to get to that next. Ever heard of the Sleeper app? Here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoy playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualization on all of them. A news feed with lightning-fast updates, critical for me, and a real-time chat. So download the #1 app today. Experience it for yourself. I made a few picks here for this coming week, and I've been out on Dak Prescott in general, but more than 0.5 passing yards. Yes, please give me that freebie. And then I'm going Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs, sticking with the running backs, having both of them getting into the end zone. If you guys want to get into it, go check out Sleeper. Use the link in the description down below and use our promo code Bulletin and get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Plus, they've got now a new promo, a free $20 entry, no deposit required. That's right, a free $20 entry. Got to jump on that. Again, use promo code Bulletin, get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, DeAndre Ayton, preseason debut. It is just one game, but a whopping 1 point, 0 for 2 shooting, 8 boards, 2 blocks, but 4 turnovers. Boy, the Suns, they were really aggressive, stripping Ayton from the ball down low. Donnie, Suns fans reveling, enjoying the struggles of DeAndre Ayton in this game, particularly on the offensive end, and enjoying Devin Booker and this potential beef here between Booker and Ayton. Is this a sign of things to come? Are Suns fans going to have a lot more things to point at and laugh at involving the Lakers and Ayton this coming season?
I mean, it's going to be a very contentious year for these two teams because Luke is also on the Lakers, and there's no love lost there between him and Booker.
The Luka smiling meme at Devin Booker after that game.
Yeah. It goes both ways, man. There's no love lost there. So it's going to be a very interesting season for these two teams together when they match up. But, I mean, if the bar is, will he ever have another no-show offensive night? I'm sure he'll have one again. I think that's just reasonable. That's within expectation. He'll have another game where he looks like that on the offensive end, can't get his things to go. He's not getting a lot of opportunities, things like that. But really what I want to see from him is the defense. I want to see the rebounding. I want to see him still continuing to move and hustle out there because, I mean, the team isn't going to need him on most nights to be a 18 point per game guy. There are going to be nights where he's going to be able to get by with 8 or 9 points, but 12 or 13 rebounds, a couple blocks, something like that, and the team will just keep on humming and do just fine. So if he's able to do that, I think he'll be fine. But if the bar is, will he ever have another clunker game or single-digit scoring game, I think those will certainly come throughout the season.
Well, as JJ Redick noted after the game too, like the reason why they brought Ayton there was to play pick and roll with Luka, and Luka didn't play.
Yeah.
He's not going to play in tomorrow's game either. So that's part of it. I think Austin Reeves, could he have gotten Ayton more involved? Yes, but he's also had some struggles getting bigs involved in the past when we saw with Anthony Davis. Maybe not a surprise, particularly when there's not a lot around. There had so many guys out. The defense was able to really focus in on Ayton and stopping him from getting easy opportunities on the dive. Although he did have that one and just missed the layup.
I mean, he switched hands midair for that one, though. So
it's something, but still, those are plays you would expect them to finish. However, Ayton said, "I'm not here for numbers. I'm here for whatever the Lakers really want me to do. I wanted to show the team I'm more committed on the defensive end more than the offense. I'm not here for numbers." So with that being that is music to my ears from a Lakers fan perspective. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that he doesn't care about how many 15-foot jumpers he takes. That instead, he's focused on rebounding the basketball, setting good screens, rolling hard, and protecting the paint. If he does that, everything else I think will fall into place. So I know there's a lot to point and laugh at DeAndre Ayton for 1 point, 0 of 2 shooting, and even to take shots at Lakers fans. But I think if Ayton does focus on those things that he's talking about here, everything will be just fine with him. However, that may not lead to the big box score nights, which is what opposing fans are going to look at. So if opposing fans see DeAndre Ayton has a 9-8 game, right? 9 points and 8 boards or something, he could be extremely impactful. But if that's the box score, I think we're going to see a lot of DeAndre Ayton this season. I couldn't resist.
I'm used to it now. It's all right. I'm used to it. I think what you mentioned earlier was the biggest reason he was just mostly a no-show on offense. It's quite hard for these guys to get him the ball. Firstly, if you watch, they had every single lane to try to get him the ball. It just was consumed. They could not get him the ball. They want to throwing it over the top. He's catching it under the basket, trying to go up, getting stripped. It's just not good, right? No. So they did obviously bring him in to play with Luka, but it's Luka, it's LeBron, it's several guys that would have been able to find him, maybe hit him on a lob, hit him on a pocket pass, something like that just wasn't available to him in this game. And he's not somebody that's oftentimes going to be able to create and be your offensive fulcrum. So I think that will obviously be more on the table for him whenever you get more opportunities out there. But if he is going to come out and really commit to the defensive end, I think that'd be huge, because that's one of the things that he hasn't so much done throughout his career. Yes. He has shown that he can be a solid defensive player, solid rim protector, but he hasn't really put his full effort into doing that. And if he's going to do that, because that is what this team truly needs, then that would be huge. And, oftentimes these guys get paid for big box score numbers, big offensive numbers, things like that. And he is technically in a contract year. So I do wonder if that is able to sustain throughout the year, but it will be really cool to see, him settle on being a player that plays that role and maybe average 14, 15 points. I think that'd be good. He could get paid pretty well off of that as well.
Yeah, he absolutely could. I think, again, it's going to come down to, can he settle into the role that the Lakers want him to be in? Is it a matter of him averaging, again, he's averaging double-double every season in his career. Is it a matter of him doing that again? Or is it a matter of him being a better rim protector, better rebounder, defensive back line guy that can really talk and communicate? And that was something that got called out in last night's game as well, was the level of communication on this team. Can he fill that role? And then the scoring and everything else is secondary. But again, this little quasi mini rivalry between Lakers and Suns and Ayton and Luka, and there are more through lines now for that than I think we've seen, aside from when the two teams were meeting in the playoffs quite a bit in the early 2000s. Now we're seeing, or the mid 2000s, now we've got a little bit of extra animosity, I think, between at least from the Suns towards the Lakers, because Luka is a Laker and because Ayton is a Laker. And let's face it, Suns fans also just anybody is a Laker is enough reason for Suns fans to typically dislike them.
And a couple of years ago, Austin and Book used to get into it a little bit. It used to get a little chippy. So I wonder if that's still there, or not. So it's kind of all over the place with this. But I wouldn't, regardless of even if he had like a 30-point game, I wouldn't look at one game and say, this is just what DeAndre Ayton will be on this team, because there were so many missing pieces to this team. This is obviously just one game, one opponent, etc. I think we need to see much more before we make any sort of assessment. But I thought, at least for yesterday, while they could have used more offensive production than 1 point, of course, I thought that he played the role they've asked him to play pretty well. So I was pretty comfortable with him yesterday.
Yep, just need to work a bit on the turnovers. That was the biggest, I think, negative.
Yeah. But like I said, they were giving him the ball in like wonky spots and forcing him to create, and he wasn't the only guy. Like I saw Laravia get stripped a couple times. I saw several players get stripped. Bronny had Dylan Brooks on him. He was putting him in jail, man. Like
part of that is credit to the Suns defense. I thought the Suns did a nice job defensively. For sure. Dalton Connect lost the ball on a play where they just took it away from him. Like that, so the Suns did a good job defensively.
They had Butterfingers all game long is the point, and Ayton was no exception to that. So, I think that'd be fun.
All right, everybody, give us your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think about this budding rivalry, Lakers Suns, the Booker Ayton thing? Is that for real? Where do you stand on this situation? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, see ya and stay safe.